Welcome to our live stream of high school sports. Please note that this broadcast is produced by an independent team of sports enthusiasts, and the views, opinions, and commentary expressed are solely those of the commentators and not representative of the schools, teams, or athletes featured. While we strive for accuracy, occasional errors or misstatements may occur. This stream is intended for entertainment and educational purposes only. Thank you for joining us and enjoy the show.
Yeah, come on, let's go. Hey, you ain't never seen nothing like this. Ain't no telling how it might get. It's the hypest right here. High school sports at its finest. So many highlights, you have to rewind it. Hey, Stream City, let me just remind ya. The heart of a lion, a team full of fighters. So many stars on the field, it'll blind ya. They're giving everything they got till the time's up. Yeah, legends in the making. History is made. We just getting started. You ain't seen a thing. YSN, gotta know the name. They gon' bring the flames. They gon' do their thing. Take it to another level. Don't hold back. High school, got a passion and we show that. Got the drive and you know they got the heart. Number one spot for your high school sports. Let's go for the win. Hey.
For the win. Yeah, let's all in. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to YSN Live. It is a Tuesday edition. We are slap happy. We are back and better than ever. That was Mike and Mike in the morning for a while. They were back and better than ever for a long time. It is yours truly, DJ Yoakley, alongside the 8-time best-selling author, Grammy Award-winning, world-traveling, Emmy Award-winning, and Pulitzer Prize-nominated. Did not win, but came in very close second place, and that's okay because he's going to do better next time. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Anthony Ronald Hartwig. And making his triumphant return back from the depths of Bradenton, Florida, ladies and gentlemen, the professor, the one and only Mount the Count Union, Gregory McAfee. Hello, Gregory.
How we doing, guys?
Hello, Ronnie.
Good to be back.
Welcome home. Boys, do we have we got some games tonight, and there is one that I am particularly jazzed, fluted up about because this one's for all the marbles. And it's seemingly, correct me if I'm wrong, nobody is looking at this particular game. I mean, there's the game that everybody talks about that seemingly is once every 10 games is a really good game. And then you've got everything on YSN, and nobody's talking about the NE8 championship tonight, ladies and gentlemen, as the Poland Seminary Bulldogs walk into hostile territory of the Hubbard flying, screaming Eagles tonight, where so much is on the line. History is up for grabs. Was 49 years since the
50.
Hubbard, 50 years. 50 years. That just sounds better in marketing. Anyway, 50 years since the Hubbard Eagles have won a conference championship. That's correct? That's what we're talking about?
Yeah. And
also, wait a minute, Anthony.
Not a deep.
Jump at this. We are 1 3-pointer away from one particular player. Also, just a handful of points away from crowning another 1,000-point player. Just happens to be the same player. Braden Songer is on the cusp of history tonight in his own barn. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are not amped up and geeked up about this game, I don't know, maybe check your pulse, check your blood sugar. Let's get it cranked up a little bit because, ladies and gentlemen, usually it's red versus blue. Today it's blue versus blue for the strap and the NE8. Anthony, I know you're chomping at the bit to talk about this one. What excites you more than I can just Don King the crap out of that game right there?
Well, what excites me is you have 2 certified superstars going at it. They can both get their shot anywhere on the floor they want to. Carmine Tuccolo for Poland, Braden Saunders for Hubbard. those two are like the winner of this game might win the MVP for NE8, might get the NE8 Player of the Year, whoever wins that matchup. Because normally it's an unwritten rule that you give it to the league champion, whoever the Player of the Year is. So this might be not just a battle for the NE8 championship, it might be a battle for NE8 Player of the Year too, because those two going at it again, and I think they're both very deserving of it. But then you look inside too. I mean, Poland's got some monsters inside with, Natoli and VC that do a lot of work in the paint, but then Jacob Hughes, man, he's a man among boys. You ever see him throw one down for Hubbard? I mean, it's not fair sometimes when you watch him play.
Jakob,
I think his beard grows between plays. It's literally like you cut it and then it's like the Santa Claus when he
Are you
shades
jealous?
15
You
seconds
got a
later.
little jelly on you?
There's some beard jelly. But Jacob Hughes is a man, and he's hard to deal with. It's going to be a fun one. You have so much on the line. You got great kids on the call with Fabrizio doing the call. I mean, Manzo doing the call. Fabrizio is going to be on the floor because he's on the team. So going to be a fun one. Going to be a real fun one in Hubbard. Greg's going to be there getting all the shots. So we got everything going. We got everything cooking.
We are hyped for this game. There's no doubt about it. Greg, to come back and get your feet wet, but dude, you're diving in the deep end, coming right back here into Hubbard. What's got you jazzed up about this one?
I mean, it's everything you asked for. I mean, NE8 championship, 1,000-point milestone on the line. Obviously, Braden Songer's been, one of the top athletes in this area for a long time. So it'll be cool to, see him accomplish that career milestone. And we've seen a bunch of these over the course of the year. Kids reaching this milestone. I think it's always more special though when you get to do it on your home court. You have your fans behind you. The student section will probably be loud. Hubbard's a beautiful gym, so I'm sure it will be a great environment, a great atmosphere, and I'm excited to see these two teams go at it. Obviously Anthony stole my thunder a little bit. Obviously, you have the Tukalo and the Songer matchup, but you also I think the big men down low is going to be something to watch. I mean, you got Jacob Hayes. And then you got Maddox Spearens is only a freshman, but he's a big boy down in the paint. I think that's going to be a battle to watch. And then, the support of the role players off the bench and, the guys who play their roles, I think it's going to be a good matchup. I'm glad I'm going to be in the building for it and excited to see what happens.
I had a quick kind of, back and forth text message with Eric Fender this morning talking about some stuff. And I just mentioned, this atmosphere tonight is something that you can't replicate unless there's so much on the line. You're looking at two teams. Obviously, this conference, in the age of conferences going by the wayside, this is a title that means something to so many in this area because the NE8, I don't know how else to put it, it has prestige. It has a little bit of that shine, or a lot of bit of that shine in this case. For one of the area's top championships when you think about any sport. So when you're thinking about, and I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about what this atmosphere, what the place is going to be rocking tonight. When you're thinking about it, Anthony, and you've been in those championship settings and those conference championship just barns and facilities. Hubbard, it's gonna be rocking it. I mean, it's a whiteout. I think they're getting shirts donated. I had quick count at like 130 shirts that they're getting. So that's going to be a lot of support in that gym. And I would venture to guess. And Greg
might have to mess with his weight balance a little bit.
That's what I'm. There's got to be a shot that we can get like a wide angle of the atmosphere because to me, it's going to be magical. It's going to be something where kids are going to walk off and they're going to be like, I'm going to need to be in a state championship type atmosphere in order to beat what just happened tonight.
Yeah. I kind of talked about it at the beginning of the year. Like, these are my favorite atmospheres, like my favorite games to cover because of the atmosphere. Like, I'm really looking forward to it. In a football stadium, it's open air. The voices go somewhere. In a gym, the voices bounce off the walls.
Yeah.
It gets loud. You got to lean over and, yell in the ear of the person next to you to talk. The student sections get creative with their chants and everything
And-
like that. So I'm excited to see what Hubbard
And
has
don't
up his
forget,
sleeve.
in Hubbard, the student sections are right in front of you.
Yeah.
Because they're behind
Mhm.
the hoops in Hubbard. So
Yeah.
you're shooting foul shots and you're looking at kids that are trying to distract you with whatever they come up with right in front of you.
Hubbard's not a small barn either.
No.
No, it's a big gym. And you got a ton of room on the baseline, which is always fun. The first time I went there, I always envisioned they would have, if you guys have ever watched an Arizona State game. I don't know if they do it anymore, but they did it when I was at school there. They had a curtain of distraction, I believe is what they called it, where their student section was right behind, just like Hubbard. They would throw up a curtain, and as the free throw shooter was shooting, they would open up the curtain and someone would step out and do something crazy and try to distract the shooter. Like when I was there, like Michael Phelps popped out from behind the curtain at one point.
What?
He was in his Speedo. He had his glasses on. He was doing like the slap thing that he does with his back. They've had some people come through, like some like alumni and some famous people come through and participate and everything like that. It was so much fun to watch. It's such a cool part of that atmosphere, and they have like the perfect setup for it.
You killed
if anyone from Hubbard is listening, got an idea for you.
Can you imagine? And I saw just recently they had one where in the state, and this is kind of gross, but really, really funny. There was a lady pretending to give birth.
Yeah,
and
they're
she gave
pulling
birth to a fan. They rocked him, dude. It was awesome. But listen, the fan sections this year have been, I think, better than they've ever been, or better than they've been in quite a long time. And I hope they do it tonight. I hope Poland brings a ton of kids. I hope Hubbard represents their gym and marks their territory. But man, I am so jealous. Now I get to do a sectional semifinal game, so nobody's more jealous than people than people of me. But I want to be in that gym tonight. Like I wish I was there, not just to be able to soak up the atmosphere. And it's one of those moments where when we do what we do, I'm excited to be able to turn this game on and just watch and just kind of be present in the game and be excited for these kids in these moments, because this game, to me, I mean, you guys talked about the bigs versus the sharpshooters versus all. I mean, it could go a bunch of different ways. Yeah. And we're talking about Tukalo and we're talking about Songer, but there's about 15 other guys that can step up and make history for their community tonight. And Poland has the opportunity to make history as well. I mean, they're looking to become a dominant dynasty of a program in Poland Seminary High School. And I think tonight would pretty much cement that, being able to put that stamp on the NE8 and say, this is ours. And again, the landscape of all these conferences, you don't know what the future is. I'm not saying that I know anything or I don't know anything, but I think at the whim, we saw what happened with West Branch and with Salem and with the EBC this past week. We don't want to take conferences for granted at this point. And if we're thinking about this, if we're playing Back to the Future, and this is 5 years from now, we look back and we go, this was the last kind of hurrah for the NE8 conference. And again, not saying it is or it isn't,
but you never know.
What better way to go out?
Yeah.
There are rumors. I will put that out there. There are rumors. There are rumors. But I'm excited for this, Greg. I'm super jealous of what you get to do tonight. And then, Anthony, where are you tonight?
Tonight's off for me.
You
mom's babysitting on Tuesday night, so
I'm sick of this.
I know. I got to be in my trailer.
Your trailer? What?
Yeah. Like the Stars trailer, not like a trailer park.
Did not read that on the page. read completely different than what you said.
Teacher's like, you go.
For some reason, what was that show? There's What About Earl or whatever.
Oh, my name is Earl.
My name is Earl.
Earl.
Yeah, like that immediately was the first thing that popped in my head. Was Anthony was like his mom had the house and Anthony just bought a trailer in the front yard. Congratulations, either way. Big game tonight, obviously in Hubbard, but guys, playoff season is among us. Officially starts tonight. DK will have one game. Newton Falls.
Newton Falls.
Okay.
And then you got the East Palestine Valley Christian game.
Yep.
Whoa.
You guys are both sick on me.
I think
What's
snot
going
flew on that one. I apologize. That might have been the most unprofessional cough.
Greg has never been more
life.
happy that this is a remote show.
Oh, listen, he's got all the sunshine and Pittsburgh Pirate cooties.
Yeah, I got off the plane and I had a shirt and shorts on, and I was like, I need to put an extra layer on here before I go to my car.
And this is warm here, right?
Yeah.
It's supposed to get 54 today or something like that, according to Storm Tracker 21. Greg, let's inform people what why you were missing from YSN the last week or so, what you were up to, and the excitement around your new position.
Yeah. I was down in Bradenton, covering Pirate spring training, for a company called DK Pittsburgh Sports down in Pittsburgh. So going to be, doing a little bit of freelancing for them, photography, videography, stuff like that. So I was down there for a week, got a bunch of photos, a bunch of videos, all that type of stuff. So going to be bouncing back and forth, but my role will not decrease here. YSN has been good to me. I enjoy what DJ and all of the guys have started, and I look forward to continuing to contribute what I've been doing. Highlights, photos, videos. I'm excited to keep it rolling, that's for sure.
Even off camera, Anthony's coughing. Like we can't even get a nice soundbite from Greg McAfee because Anthony's literally dying up in the right-hand corner. Dang it, Anthony. He's still dying. Oh, this is.
It's like a laugh cough.
Blink
now.
Twice if you need help. Lots of commenters today. Love seeing it.
Yep.
Sean calling the whiteout conditions in Hubbard tonight. Look, we got our own meteorologist joke in there.
Look at him.
Oh, Woody.
The man,
Sean
the
can
myth,
do
the
no
legend.
wrong.
I mean, Sean is the golden touch right now. He has the Midas touch. Everything and everywhere he goes, it turns into the best game of the night. So
Yep.
I don't know where he's going tonight. I haven't looked at the schedule that deep yet, but boy, Hubbard and Poland might have their work cut out for him.
Yeah, I'm excited. It should be a very good game.
What I love about both Poland and Hubbard is they both have student broadcasts, right?
Yeah.
So can you imagine being 16, 17 years old and having a game like this? And I just remember being a PA announcer, a public address announcer for basketball. There's got to be so many jitters and so many bubble guts going on right now. And the anxiety, good anxiety, going through the minds of those student athletes, number one, but our student broadcasters, because this could be the call of their life.
Yeah. It's something to look forward to. Like, when I was in high school, I wish I would have had an opportunity like that to be able to, obviously share the passion that you have for the school in a game like that, of that magnitude, where, it could be something that people remember forever. That's, why we do what we do and put together the highlights and everything like that. That's your voice on the call. That's you get to preserve a moment in history, that could, be watched and passed down forever. And it's a great memory to have.
Sean's going to Mineral Ridge tonight. Newton Falls, just
Ridge. Yeah, I was just going to fill that in. So let's run down some of the games that we have tonight. 7:00, Canfield at Austintown Fitch. Ty Bartell will be teaming with the ultra talented Ali Kanegi, who is Anthony, you got to work with her. She is incredible at what she does. She is going to be one of those young ladies that we say we knew her when she is on the big mothership.
I'm venturing out on the West Branch too. Like to see her spread her wings and fly. I like it.
Quickly, by the way. Like she's like, no, I'm good. Like I'm going to do this quicker than one Anthony Ronald Hartwig.
It took a while.
Glen Oak and
I was pushed out
Louisville.
of the nest too. I didn't go out of my own accord. Deidre was just like,
oh, there was
fly.
no push, buddy. I rolled you right down that hill.
Go fly.
Right down that hill. Glen Oak and Louisville doing battle. Rob Johnson will be on the call with he and his friends from Spotlight Media. 7 p.m. We also have Jackson Milton at Crestview. Our legendary voice of the Rebels, Tony Perazio, will have the call for us. The school will have the Jefferson at Perry feed as well. Sean Elwood. Woody will have the Newton Falls at Mineral Ridge game. Lucas Manso has the distinct honor and pleasure of having the 7 p.m. Poland at Hubbard NEA championship game. We will also have the St. John at Grand Valley game. James Westover will have the call on that. Mikey McNuggies, McKenzie will have South Range at Beaver Local. We will also have Steve Hodge calling the Springfield. We better double check that one. Springfield at McDonald game. We'll double check that one because that is a highlighted game on another particular network. So we will see if we can't move Mr. Hodge somewhere else to highlight other student athletes. And then we have the 7 o'clock tip between Akron St. Vincent St. Mary and Ursuline. Logan Sarnas has the call with that one. And, of course, the two sectional semifinal games in girls hoops. Number 27, Valley Christian taking on number 23, East Palestine. I will have the call just down the road here. And then we have number 26, St. John taking on number 24, Newton Falls. So the only way to get those live is to go and subscribe to the NFHS network. One subscription fee covers everything for the entire. Let me think about this. It should cover the entire playoffs, just about, or there. 2 months for sure. But I just buy the year because it's way cheaper. So for those of you saying, well, it's easy for you to say, I have to buy it too. We don't get a magic code. Believe it or not. So buy the NFHS network. You'll be able to watch all the games that we have all the way up through the regionals. And you can watch it from all over the country too. So enjoy that. It'll have a link right to the purchase page, I guess. Brian's setting it up like that. So enjoy that. Lots of games on the network tonight and then even more tomorrow. Boys basketball aplenty tomorrow as well. And then we finish out Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And then we are, I think we are all go on playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
All go. I have an extra, pardon me, extra added to the schedule tomorrow. Just found out about it. East Palestine hosting Lisbon with some EOAC championship parameters set up for that game. If Lisbon wins, as I understand it, I could be off here, at least as it was written. If Lisbon wins, they and Columbiana tie. But if Lisbon loses, Columbiana wins. So Columbiana's in the driver's seat. Like they're locked in. I don't know. It's Lisbon and Columbiana.
You think that's confusing? The MVAC grade tier, it has a possibility of being a 4-way tie. Brookfield already won last night, so they have a share. But then if Southeast, Newton Falls, and LaBrea all win their next MVAC games, they're all tied at the top at the end of the season.
Jeez.
Can we get some tiebreaker rules here?
Yeah, I agree.
I'm all for giving kids victories and they earn it, but there's too many ways to be tied. Like a 4-way tie is to me, it's 3 too many.
Yeah.
So what are the best tiebreakers? I mean, do we play knockout in a gym? Hey, let's just the mega knockout bowl.
I've always liked the I think it's in Friday Night Lights, the movie where they flip the coin, or I can't remember which football movie.
In the diner?
Yeah, where they flip the coin. I've always enjoyed that.
Comes down to
But
a
I
coin
mean,
flip.
if we're talking practical, like head-to-head matchups, point differential,
I like point differential.
that type of stuff.
I like point differential until you get to blowouts.
Yeah, that's the downfall. Like, I mean, with the Olympics, like with hockey and the Olympics for seeding in like the after the round robin section, it's goal differential. So like, I was listening to something on the way home from Florida, and Canada and USA were, battling for the number 1 seed in the tournament,
yeah.
and they both had 1 game left, and they were against lesser opponents from what I understand. And the guy was like, "Yeah, these games could get a little ugly because there was like a 2-point goal differential between." Or 2 goal differential between USA and Canada. So
Canada
USA
played first, and then USA had to score 10 goals in order to get the number 1 seed.
I believe so, something like that. Yeah.
Comment coming in says there should be a clear winner head-to-head in point differential.
Point differential in those head-to-head games. So like if, for example, Brookfield Newton Falls split, but Newton Falls won by more than Brookfield did. So if you combine the 2 scores, Newton Falls would have won. So like Newton Falls would have the edge over Brookfield in that scenario. I think that's what you're talking about.
That's interesting.
That would make sense. I like that. Because it would obviously, I think you know who you're gonna kind of be in contention with in a way. So like it kind of puts more emphasis on those games than it would if they like one team ran up the score on another team in a different game or something like that.
The formulas would get really, when it's 4 teams though, you're like, well, this team played this team and they won by this much, and this team played this team and this played like it might get real wild when it's a 4-way tie.
Yeah.
So it's Brookfield. Who else?
Brookfield, LaBray, Newton Falls, and Southeast are all tied at the top, and 3 of those teams, Southeast, LaBray, and Newton Falls, all have 1 more game to play. So they all have to win their last MVAC game. I think Newton Falls has Champion, Southeast has Garfield, and
none of them play each other.
LaBray has Crestview. No, they've all played each other already.
Gonna get interesting.
Yep.
I mean, that could get dicey. I mean,
Garfield almost spoiled the party last night. The Brookfield won by 2.
Yeah, I saw that. That was, I mean, I don't know. I'm not a believer in ties from that standpoint. I just like, especially 4-way ties at the top. Like, you're talking about half your conference, right? I mean, you're talking 8 teams.
Yeah.
There's no, like if you do, we've seen 2. Okay, all right. It's still gross, but 4
means 4 teams are going to be cutting down nets for MVAC championships. Like,
no, man, you got to play like
that doesn't feel right.
You got to play like battle ball or something for the championship. Like something.
Just have a little like postseason turn. Like play each other one more time. Best 2 out of 3. Everyone play each other again.
Well, you can play. You know what you can do? I watched the NBA All-Star game the other night, and that was real interesting because you're playing essentially games inside of games, and you're like
it was like a round robin, and I was like, what is going on here?
I watched it the beginning. I was like, this is stupid, and then I was like, okay, this is interesting because it was the Stripes versus Europe or somebody, and Europe the world needed to win by over 3. I'm like, what is this? I don't understand, but it's interesting because at the end they played their tails off. It was like watching the NBA finals in the last 2 minutes, and it's like, oh, okay, now we're gonna play. We went 100 games with just throwing shots up. I think that would be interesting, or a slam dunk a dunk off.
Ooh,
now, Brookfield would have the advantage, I think.
Yeah, they're pretty smith. But yeah, I'm trying to And then if we had a 3-point contest, LeBray's like, hey, Austin Rowe, come in.
You don't think Austin can dunk it?
Oh, he can dunk. He can dunk for sure.
Austin Rowe versus Brody Smith.
Dunk
and then
off.
Newton Falls and Southeast just have to figure something out. Like, we'll give them a ladder, or I don't know.
They can jump off someone's back.
Yeah, I mean, let's get creative, okay? Creativity
put a trampoline
counts.
on the court.
just a four-way tie does not. I know it's not about me, but it doesn't do anything for me.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, imagine going to college and be like, "Yeah, we won a championship my senior year. We tied with 3 other teams."
Oh, you just leave that part out. We won. Just end it there. No one else has to know.
Were you homeschooled?
I think the coin toss that would be a legendary story.
Can you imagine?
Brookfield wins. What?
We do a rock paper scissors
That'd be wild.
live on YSN.
That'd be wild.
I mean, we're getting to that point.
Something's got to be figured out some way. I don't like all the co-champions, and I'm sure while the kids are excited to be have some share of the title or whatever, I would assume that it would make it that much more special if they were sole champions and they were able to earn that sole title.
Can you imagine if you lost the conference championship because of a coin flip?
That'd be crazy.
Or somebody throws rock instead of paper?
No, we told you paper, you idiot.
That'd be nuts.
You're done.
That'd be nuts.
You're done. You're out, coach. Coach gets fired because he threw rock.
Coach Simbach, one of the most winning coaches in the area. You're fired. You threw paper.
Sack of subs. We told you to throw paper. I don't know. I don't know what I just know that a four-way tie is that's not the way you solve things in sports.
No, not at all.
We're not Europe. We're not playing soccer over here. No ties.
Oh, man. Soccer catches a stray from Anthony Hartwig this afternoon. That's one thing we haven't talked about. All these conferences that are kind of going on. And Greg, I know you got to bounce.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I just want real quick.
Yep.
Would a relegation promotion strategy work with some of these conferences if they were to rebuild and just go, listen, I'm pulling 2 conferences out. Okay, so it's the MVAC Scarlet and the EOAC. And if you lose, if you're in the bottom, you are relegated to the EOAC. And if you win the EOAC, you are promoted to MVAC Scarlet. Would that ever win?
I think it's an interesting idea for sure, because I like the idea of that. Because then I think the competition's a little bit better. You're facing teams that are on the same level. You see less blowouts and things of that nature. But from a scheduling aspect, aren't schedules built out like a year or 2 ahead of time?
2 years.
In a way. 2 years. So from that aspect, it'd be a little bit hard, I think. Maybe if you look at, I think that would be the tough part that would need to work around it. But I like the idea, because I like the idea of relegation in general. I think it's obviously something that's used a lot in soccer overseas with like the English Premier League and everything like that. And I think, you look at like, what's the show with Ryan Reynolds and Wrexham? With that whole thing and how they were able to climb through relegation and stuff like that. It's a cool story. I think it would add an extra element into high school sports, how to pull it off, the logistics of it. I'm not sure, to be honest. That's above my pay grade.
That's why you're the professor. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, Professor Greg McAfee. Thanks, G. Appreciate you popping by, buddy.
Thanks, guys, for having me. I appreciate being back. And, all the teams, good luck tonight.
Thanks for neutralizing my shot at soccer by giving him some.
You really bailed him out big time.
Good job.
Thanks, G. Have a good day and enjoy the call tonight.
I'll try. Have a good one, guys.
All right, Anthony. So now you have to fill in the blanks, because obviously the conference shakeup is it's happening. We're seeing it. Letonia was the first kind of straw or card that fell off the deck, and now you've got Salem, West. Basically,
the whole EBC is
gone.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people wondering, okay, will Salem and West Branch wind up in the NE8? Will they wind up in the All-American Conference? Will they create a new conference? We've seen Marlington already commit to go, and Minerva.
Marlington and Minerva, they're going to, I forget what they're calling this new conference they're making. But I was surprised because Marlington, I was looking at the teams in their new conference. 5 out of their 7 teams, they have to travel over 40 minutes to get to. So geographically, doesn't make much sense for Marlington. I think the EBC teams in that conference were kind of like, we got to just go with the best we can possibly get. Like, we're stuck in a hard place because our conference just fell apart. So geographically, they kind of got a little bit of the short end of the stick in that conference. The other teams are great. Like, they're right next to each other. Geographically makes sense. But Marlington and Minerva a little bit better, but not much. I think Minerva has a lot of 30 and 40-minute drives. Marlington has a lot of 40 and 50-minute drives. So it didn't really work out too well for those two when it comes to geographic terms.
Yeah, I'm interested because I thought Marlington would have been a nice kind of package with Salem, West Branch, and potentially going over to the NE8.
I think the sticking point was football, and I think they know they at this point they probably can't compete in football in the NE8 right now where their program's at.
Sure, and I think there are and there's some other other conferences that are in the same boat. I think, but that's, and I'm not a commissioner nor am I an athletic director, but I've always had the interesting kind of, well, we make such a heavy push for girls sports, especially in today's day and age. You and I have talked about this up and down. We're both on the same page that girls sports matters more than it's ever mattered ever in the time of sports. It's right now. And you've got teams that are really good in girls sports, okay in boys sports. They're cyclical.
Yeah. Marlington's one of those teams.
They are.
The volleyball team, back-to-back state appearances. Basketball team's historically good. Softball team's historically good. So, yeah, Marlington's one of those teams that has a lot of cachet on the girls' side.
So if all things are equal, professor of girls sports and dean of girls sports, help me out here. Why are we not looking at that and saying, yeah, we'll concede being average to above average in football because that's always the one. Nobody else cares about anything else in boys sports. But we're going to dominate girls sports in this conference.
It'd be great, but things aren't equal, and that's just the reality. And I think that's just one of the, like, you want to sell football tickets and you want to make people excited about football, and the way to do that is to have more games on your schedule that you think are winnable.
Isn't that how and why the MAC conference out west continues to dominate?
Yeah.
Because they're just worried about, hey, we just want to represent the conference. Right. And they're always cheering for the conference.
Yep.
They're not cheering for the team. I mean, they're cheering for the team, but they're cheering for the MAC. Like it is a little bit annoying. I'm not going to lie to you.
There's a lot of like under the table handshakes in that conference where they all respect and know each other, and there's some unwritten rules in that conference they all follow. So I think that's why they're so tight knit, because they all have like this kind of unspoken bond in the community where they're like, hey, we don't stab you in the back, you don't stab us in the back. Let's all kind of work together to try to make this conference as good as it is, and that's why it's so dang dominant.
It's unbelievable, and I want to clarify. I didn't mean annoying like the actual chant. I just like they're so dominant that it's like, okay, cheer for your team, don't cheer for your conference.
It's like the SEC of high school football, like SEC, as the commercial that used to air all the time. It just means more. It just means more in the MAC, I guess. You know,
I'm a firm believer that conferences, if you look at the EOAC or the NE8 or the NVAC is different because it's so big, right? I like the 8-team conferences. To me, that's what a conference should and hopefully will consist of once again, without the tiers or the different colors. But you look at how, okay, we just want to be represented. We want to know that we went through a gauntlet and the best of the best is represented when we go to the playoffs. Tonight you're looking at Hubbard and Poland in the playoffs. I would imagine, there's a lot of people that if their team's eliminated and it's an NE8 team, they're going to root for Hubbard or Poland or South Range or Niles or Girard or whoever that may be, right? In Lakeview. So you look at kind of where you come from. I mean, I know the Browns fans will never root for the Steelers. Steelers will never root for the Ravens. Ravens will never root for the Browns. None of that stuff. But it's one of those. To me, it's different in high school sports because those are your guys. I mean, we talked about Braden Songer and we talked about Carmon Tucolo and their friendship, and I would have to imagine, we had Jace Ricardo on yesterday, Ursuline and Keonfield. I mean, that's a rivalry, and Jace talking about, they still have a group chat with Noah and Jalen and Jace. Right. I mean, it's different, and I think that it's weird to say that the adults in the room should want to have the best teams inside those conferences and not worry about necessarily we're going to win every single sport.
Yeah.
Like, let's just iron sharpen iron and let's get better. And sometimes when you're not winning and your program is struggling or your program is like, let's work together and try to get programs better because we're going to face you twice a year in every sport but football. Mm-hmm. And let's make sure that we're getting better because if you get better, we get better. But I think, quite honestly, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, and anybody out there can correct, this is a situation, Anthony, where teams don't care as long as they're getting wins in the win column.
Yeah, and we've had that conversation, and it's where they're getting wins too. Like, for example, I mean, we brought Marlington up. They're gonna be a little bit more competitive in football, but now in the girls' sports, they're gonna run that roost in the conference. Like, this is how it's gonna be. So they got the girls' sports got the brunt of that. They're like, okay, we just got a conference where we can handle a lot of these teams pretty easily. Don't have to deal with West Branch anymore in girls basketball. Don't have to deal with Salem anymore in volleyball. Let's go make some magic. And that's, I mean, I their girls teams are probably like, iron does sharpen iron, and our iron just got a little bit weaker.
I mean, are you excited in that situation if you're part of that team, or are you kind of like, wow, I hope we build up a schedule of teams outside our conference that helps us get better?
It's got to be bittersweet, right? Because you're looking at it going like, okay, we can win this conference. Like, our conference, we can do it. Like, this is a very winnable conference. But the other end, you're like, but now we have to make sure we're getting ready for tournament time with non-conference play. So yeah, it's one of those things where it's probably very bittersweet because you're looking at those teams saying winnable conference. If we take care of business, we can get it. And that's a conference championship. But it's also like, we have to make sure our non-conference schedule now is beefed up a little bit.
Going back to what was it? Central Florida, who won the quote unquote national championship, a few years ago, probably more than a few now. I always thought it was funny because I never thought it was actually something they took seriously. And then they actually took it seriously. They put national champions on their banners and all kinds of stuff. And I think that that's a real issue. That's a real issue. And I think that, there's some high schools there that, again, it's not their fault, but it's administration needs to put things in place. Mm-hmm. And when I talk about administration, I'm talking about commissioners and athletic directors and committees and whatever, make up that particular conference. So we don't have four-way ties. We don't have situations like we're seeing where, okay, well, we're just going to leave the conference because we haven't won it yet in 7 years. Mm-hmm. That doesn't mean that you're going to get better by leaving the conference. It just means that you're tapping out, and it's got to be frustrating as parents. Has to be frustrating for the student athletes. I'm sure it's frustrating for the athletic directors because they're catching heat from all over, administrators as well. But like Anthony, I mean, are we just in the state of the world that we just roll over and we just go, you know what, we're not winning here, so we're going to take our ball and go home? Or is this just is this a phase?
Well, I think it is a phase. Like, everything comes in phases. I mean, if you look in history, like, everything's in a cycle. So we'll probably have a phase like this, and then we'll get back into a phase like the 90s where it turns back into, grit and whatever. And then we'll have it's like, but it's going to be a long phase. Like, it's not going to be like 5 years from now, hey, everyone, we woke up and now we have a different attitude. I think it's going to, it takes a while for society to change, of course. So, we're in it. We're in it. We have to deal with this reality we're in, where there's a lot of people, not everyone, this isn't universal, of course. A lot of people want to find the easiest way to win possible, and they'll take that easiest route that they can. And whatever that means, they'll do it. And there's a lot of that's why we see a lot of conference realignment and teams leaving conferences, because they see an easier way to win and they'll take it. And at some point you can't fault them for that, because it's like, if you're winning, you're winning. Is there a right way to win? Is there like you didn't win hard enough. Like, it wasn't hard enough for you to win, but you still won. That's why I laughed like when people were mad NBA teams were stacking up talent. It's like, yeah, they won a championship, but they got all this talent. It's like, so you wanted them to make it hard on themselves to win a championship, so championships are relevant because they just didn't. They tried too hard to win it in the offseason. Like, I was always laughing at that. But so a part of me is like, hey, if you want to go win, go win. But there's also that part of me that's like, yeah, but you didn't really, like, you could have really had an opportunity to earn that win a little bit more. And you kind of weaseled your way out of it. And you kind of, said, well, we'll just go. We can't win here. Well, like you said, pack our bags. We'll go win over there. The water's a lot less murky over there, so let's just go be the big fish in that pond instead of being the medium fish in this bigger pond.
I guess it just depends, and Annette has a great point here. Why don't they just play different sports according to those conferences? Different conferences according to sports, I guess.
Oh, so like I'm in the EBC in football, but I'm in the MVAC in basketball.
Yeah, essentially the Notre Dame rule, right?
Yeah, where Notre Dame is in the ACC.
I'm not in love with that. That would be confusing as all get out.
Yeah. Even Notre Dame is in one conference except for football. Like, every other sport's in one conference. So, but sometimes you do see that in the niche sports. Like, in sports where your conference doesn't have the sport, you play in a different conference. But very rarely. Hockey, for example, that we're in right now. Hockey plays. Canfield has a hockey team. They obviously don't play in the AAC because none of the AAC teams have hockey.
Hey, we got somebody on Twitch saying hello.
Hey!
All right.
Carson on Twitch. What's up,
Hey,
Carson?
Thanks for chiming in on Twitch. Hope you're brought some friends, because it's probably very lonely over there.
Hit the donate button if we have one.
I don't know that we do. I don't know that we ever investigated if this Twitch thing is real or not. Yeah, dude, I don't know. I think it boils down to just, was it a good idea to break up the ITCL in the first place? That 9 years ago, whatever that was, and it certainly opened the door for us. That was kind of what the magic pill that we were like, hey.
It's funny. It kind of like, I know some of the reasons why the ITCL broke up is because people didn't want to play two specific teams anymore. Kind of worked out in those teams' favor when you think about it, because since then, both those teams have gotten to state in different sports that they probably weren't getting to very often in the ITCL. So although it might have been a little bit of a coup to kind of screw over two specific teams, it kind of backfired a little bit. And those two specific teams kind of got some muscle on their bones, and now they're the ones that are, in this state conversation in different sports.
It's interesting that you say that, because I think, yes, I tend to agree with you, but I think that on the other side of that coin, there's administrators or former administrators that sit there and they'll go, we told you this was coming, and that's why we didn't want them in our conference. And they have a point too. If we're playing devil's advocate, and I'm not trying to, but that would be the argument, is like, we saw this coming down the pike and we don't want anything to do with that, because
my counter would be, would it have happened if the ITCL stayed together? Like, would those teams have gotten as good if they didn't have to go get an independent schedule and then go and play in bigger conferences with bigger teams and get those, like, would they have gotten to the heights that they got in the last 6 or 7 years. I don't know. We'll see.
One of them's
We'll
not
never
even. One of them's in a conference right now that's not necessarily all that big.
You're right.
The other one is the smallest in their conference. So again, I think it's maybe a little both. Maybe your shopping cart, you're okay. Yeah, we'll just try them both and see what happens. I think and I've said this before, and I hate to reiterate this because I think it stinks. I think we are on the verge of a colossal collapse of conferences and a conference shakeup. And
when it happens in college, it's gonna eventually trickle down to high school. It's just,
why? Why is that?
I don't. It's like you see it up there above you, and you're like, huh, that looks cool. You know, you see someone playing with a toy in the sandbox, and you're like, I want that toy. And
but they're not. I mean, there's not as good at dancers, right, in high school as there are in college.
You're right.
It's just,
but the delusion says there is. That's the problem. You have these goggles on that say, "Oh, look at that dancer over there." Fine, you know. But then you take the goggles off and you go, whoa! You turn the lights on and you realize what.
Turn lights on. Well. What do we got over here? I don't know, man. I know how I feel, and it's gonna come off as very, very hard-edged, but like find 7 partners that want to go to work, and no matter what, our hands in the pile. I know it's hard because everybody wants to win. And I think financially it could be there. I mean, I will tell you this, we support conferences now. Like that's how the financial aspect of YSN. So when you see the banners hanging in the gym, there's a financial component, that goes to the conference. The conference then dissects it down to the school. Like this, if I say disseminate, is that the right word? Disseminate
it up.
School. Divvies it up. Yep. There are conferences I won't touch because for us, it doesn't make financial sense to contribute to a conference that is very one-sided, right? And that's the frustration. Like I love our partnership with the NE8 for a multitude of reasons, because seemingly in every sport, there's a different winner. You know what I mean? And the athletes are better. I think that Rob Conklin has done an excellent job across the board of being a commissioner and trying to keep things as fair as possible. I think the athletic directors are bought into one another to make sure that is the most competitive conference or the more competitive conference around. And I think that, they're not happy that they're not necessarily winning in every single capacity, but they also understand the success that our conference has in football, in volleyball, in basketball, and you name it, right? Means that our conference is going to stand out, which means that our schools independently will stand out together. And I'm not saying anything about any other conference, but you can draw your own conclusions of these other conferences are just hiding until the boogeyman goes away, and then they're popping out and acting tough. That's just how it is. And there's certain schools within those conferences that I think could measure up and punch up in a stronger conference. But I think there's a fear, and there's sometimes a dance partner. In the case of Salem and West Branch, I think that's one of the greatest rivalries in Ohio.
I'm glad they're sticking together and they're going to the same conference.
They have to stay together. And I think that's the same. I mean, there should be other ones that go like that. I think Poland and Canfield, that it's an unpopular opinion. I think Poland and Canfield should be in the same conference. Why? Because it means more. They're already playing each other. Play for a championship every year. And I know there's a lot of people that no. Well, listen, it's the battle of 224. You're that close. Let's put something on the line. You know, it's to me, it just means more to have a conference championship. Think about, I mean, you'd be talking about Hubbard, you'd be talking about Poland, and you'd be talking about Canfield in that particular conference. Wow. Out of West Branch, out of Salem. I mean, who's messing with that conference?
Nobody.
That's what I'm saying. But the other conferences have the opportunity as well. They just don't want to do it because, well, this school's too big or that school's too small. Remember what was supposed to happen at South Range in the NE8?
They're not going to compete. What are they doing in that conference?
I remember the first conversation that I had with Donnie Fair when the NE8, the idea of the NE8 was formulated. And he said, nobody believes in us. We're going to go in there. And very confidently, he said, we're going to go win the conference. And we're going to compete year after year after year. That's what they've done. And Poland's done the same thing. And I think that you look at some of these that just make sense, right? Marlington is going to dominate that conference, the new conference they're in.
Yeah.
I really do.
In a lot of sports, yeah.
I would argue one of the most interesting conferences coming up is this Portage County Conference.
Yeah, we're Southeast and Garfield and Waterloo are kind of. Yep.
I mean, wow.
Rootstown is in there.
Rootstown.
They're kind of like Marlington, where they're like, football, but the girls' sports, they're pretty dang good.
I'm really interested, and we are their official media partner, the same way we are with the other ones. I'm excited to have that because I think that is going to be a special conference. Now, there's other conversations about potentially a Trumbull County conference. There's conversation about, sharpening the MVAC and the EOAC and some kind of, I don't want to say a merger, that's not the right word, but kind of formulating an agreement with those two. Stuff that people have been talking about, there might be truth to them, but there's so many darts flying at the dartboard right now, Anthony, that everybody's just kind of coming up with their own narrative, throwing it out there. We're just trying to iron things out and say, hey, whatever happens, we're here for it. But it needs to be what's best for the group, not necessarily just football. Certainly not just football. And I know football is the great moneymaker, but that's only because we let it be. I think that, what girls sports has done, what girls basketball, right? We know girls sports can make money because if they didn't, they wouldn't have AAU weekends dedicated to them and filling up gyms all over the country.
Right. And there's no reason why it can't in high school. I think there's just got to be a little bit more effort to marketize it, to make it a priority from some of these administrators and things like, hey, not make girls basketball an afterthought when you're posting stuff and promoting stuff. Sometimes that gets lost in the sauce. But there are a lot of these schools that, like, football does not run the roost when it comes to winning, when it comes to excellence. It's more of the girls' sports that do it. And then there are the special schools where they just win everything. Football, basketball, volleyball, softball, baseball. It's just like they're always somehow good at every sport they play.
Those are the ones that in the back room of the conferences, they're like, hey, let's get them out of there and everybody else can win. Like, those are the ones I kind of get. So if you go on like a 10-year run in every single sport, guess what? They're going to tell you that the meeting starts at 6:30, but all the cars are there at 5:45. Like,
oh, you're late.
You might want to start looking for another conference. You might want to start looking around, taking a gander at somebody else. It just it's weird to me, man. And like we've talked about this, it's been coming for a long time, but now it's coming to fruition and everybody's clutching their pearls. How could they do that? How could they? I mean, if you didn't see it coming, you and Stevie Wonder should bunk up. It's just, you're blind. Coming from two blind guys. By the way, not as blind. Had my eye appointment this morning. I'm back.
Getting better.
I'm back. the last thing I wanted to talk about, kind of, glaze over real quickly is oh, by the way, Sam Torres, if you're not following him on social media, go check his stuff out, because he is adamant about Ashtabula County coming up with their own stuff.
There's a certain comment on his post about conference realignments that made me laugh for about 15 minutes last night. So
can you share it or no?
I don't know if it's appropriate to share, but it's really fun. It's about the MAC conference in college and someone that's coming into the MAC. So it's really funny. It's really hilarious.
Roger that.
So go check it out.
We did have I will. I'm excited now. We did have a conversation, Sam and I, yesterday, and he's on one side of the fence on this, and I'm on the other. There is an uprising apparently coming that we're being told about, but we're not seeing, especially here in Trumbull, Mahoning, and Columbiana counties, of girls flag football being a varsity sport at the high school level.
I think Middle Ridge is going to have one this spring.
So that's one of the very, very few that I have heard about. Mm-hmm. But Sam said 6 out of the 8 Ashtabula County conferences have girls flag football. Mm-hmm. And I would like to, and I want your opinion, because this is what I think is really interesting, because you've got your finger on the pulse of this. Is it because there is a lot more softball, basketball, and volleyball tradition, success in our neck of the woods than there is necessarily in Ashtabula, or some of the, he mentioned Cleveland and Columbus. Is it because we have so much success with our spring sports and track as well that we're not seeing kind of the overarching push for girls flag football?
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. And when you look at the majority of our schools in our little coverage map, if you will, we don't have a lot of big schools that like the Cleveland, Columbus does. When you have bigger schools, you have the ability to have obviously a bigger pool of kids. A lot of kids don't play softball, so I'd say go play flag football. With a lot of our schools, if you're adding a flag football team, you're going to steal players from softball or track that are just kind of there. They don't love it, but I want to mosey on to flag football a little bit, and then you kind of cannibalize yourself. With a lot of these small schools that we have, a majority of our schools are Division 4 through 7, so we don't have a lot of 3-2-1 schools when it comes to divisions. When you're looking at the 7 division sports, which is everything except track, I think. So it's really hard to have those size schools add another sport when they're thriving in softball and track already. So because you don't want to cannibalize those programs that are already competing so well. Some schools are doing, obviously Middle Ridge is the one I heard about. I don't know if anyone else in our local scene is doing flag football, but it's hard. It's going to be hard to pull off.
I think so as well. I think the other thing that caught me by surprise, and Sam, he just tries to get under my skin sometimes. Getting me all twerked up. But he mentioned that he feels that baseball and softball are dying. And I couldn't be more vehemently wrong. I just don't think that's accurate. I think what we're seeing die, and you can, again, stamp this or tell me I'm wrong, community ball is dying.
Yeah.
Very quickly.
The travel ball's killing it.
Yes. And listen, for a long time, I sat there and said, no. As someone who is part of the scene right now, there are many, 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 many reasons that community ball is dying a quick and relatively painful death. Mm-hmm. And it's because, I don't know how else to put it. It's daddy ball and mommy ball. And it's hurting the community and the teams that are the players that go out and try to improve their skills on their own. Mm-hmm. It's no, don't do that. We want to do everything as a team. And quite frankly, there is a giant separation that happened performance. And again, I'll be the first one that says, hey, I want my kid to have fun, but I also don't want to hold my kid back or have you hold your kid back because my kid can't keep up. And that's why travel ball exists, because there's too many parents that said, hey, my kid's better, I'm going to send him to this person. And there's money to be made out there from a standpoint of coaching and lessons and things of that nature, which is okay.
That's why these little league tournaments get real dicey when there's weather that like pushes them back, because these kids will choose travel ball over their little league team. And if they have this weekend, then it's like, hey, our team's out down in Tennessee, or our team's down playing in this, big tournament. It wasn't supposed to be this. Little League wasn't supposed to be this weekend. He got pushed to this weekend because of rain. I'm sorry, we're going to this travel tournament because that's where the priority is.
You're guaranteed 3 games, right?
So
so you're in the case that I made to Sam last night, and I think parents they should think about this, is in community ball, you're going and you're playing 1 game. So let's say that little Johnny's game starts at 5 o'clock, 5:30. You're packing up because you're not playing the other communities necessarily, neighboring communities anymore. You're playing communities that are an hour away or 90 minutes away. So let's say that you got to be there at 4:30. So that means you have to leave. If it's 90 minutes, you have to leave at 3 o'clock to be there at 4:30. The game's going to be 2 hours, right? So you're at 7 o'clock. You leave. You're going to get home at 9 o'clock, and you're either stopping to eat or you're eating when you get home. So you don't get to bed till 10 o'clock. And this is a spring sport, mind you. Or you could just wait till the weekend, get up at 6 a.m., drive. You get there at 7:30. You play a game at 8, a game at 9:30, a game at 11. And then you go into the bracket for the weekend. You play until you lose. If you lose, great, you got your Sunday back. If you win, great, you win a championship. That by itself and the cost of all of it is why travel ball is winning. And they're performance-based in most situations. It's okay, little Johnny went 7 for 7. He's going to be staying in the lineup. It's not, we are trying to have fun here, which I'm, again, advocate for. But, if your kid is going to get hurt, don't, I don't know. It's tough. It's a tough scenario.
And I like that you brought up Daddy Ball, because now, we see parents coach travel teams still. But it's more of parents that actually have kids that are involved in, they know what they're doing because they have kids that have been through the gauntlet of, elite sports training. So it's not like, hey, John, your kid's never played baseball before, but you're free on the weekends. Can you come coach baseball? It's not that anymore. It's more.
It's not Rick Moranis coaching your baseball team and screaming when the ball goes over the fence, touchdown.
Yeah. There are a lot of great parents that are coaching, local travel parents that are coaching really good travel organization. I mean, Brogan comes to mind. What he does with FP Select. Awesome job what he's doing. So Daddy Ball isn't wrong if you have a right daddy, right?
Daddy knows what he's doing. Oh, if you got the right daddy. Nice job, man. Well done. We probably won't get any emails or messages about that one. Just when we were doing really well and we weren't pissing anybody off, here comes Anthony sliding into the rescue, hitting that e-brake and says, hold my Mountain Dew. Here we go. Let's get to the Joe Dickey.
I'm the king of accidentally stepping into stuff that I shouldn't step into. That's my bit is to innocently go into stuff that I shouldn't go into.
Weirdly enough, Anthony, it never ends up being on your plate. You never step into stuff and it winds up on your shoes. It's always somebody else's size 10.5 Nikes. I don't know who it could be. Anyway, let's get to pay some bills while we still can. It is time for the Joe Dickey Electric What's Your Spark, presented by Joe Dickey Electric. They are everything electrical, and just like YSN, they're available to you 24/7, 365 on the web, DickeyElectric.com. Well, Steppy one. Let's see what you have for Spark today.
Hey, the hat's backwards, so you know Ronnie's out a little.
Ronnie's out.
Don't steal stuff. It's that like I like to think that we play nice in the sandbox with other people that try to do things that we do and try to cover high school athletes and expose athletes to really good things. And we all think that's if you're covering high school sports, it's good because you are shining a light on kids that deserve to be having a light shine on them. Just do things the right way, man. Don't steal stuff that doesn't belong to you and then not credit people. Don't. If you're in the sandbox with us, don't steal our shovel. You know, we're building the sandcastle. Don't take our tools without our permission.
Well played.
It fires me up.
Yeah, it's interesting, and I don't want to make too big a deal because it is and it's not at the same time. What I will say is we have a lot of people that work really, really hard to do really, really good work, and from a perspective of to not give credit or to not, tip a cap, if you will, to what the other person's doing, and you try to steal it or you try to use it and use it for your own gain, your own popularity, your own reasons. We're fine with that as long as you again tribute and attribute credit, or if you want to help, but it's one of those things that it has to work both ways. And if you get your hand slapped in the cookie jar once, don't just wait around to see where mom and dad go and then go back to the cookie jar. Like we will find it. we know you're hungry for that cookie. Like it's gonna come. So yeah, I'm with you on that one. Frustrating to say the least. Pardon me. But it's part of the game, right? Everybody thinks everything belongs to them. So unfortunately that's not how intellectual property works. So we will see. But hopefully, out of a bad situation comes a good one, right? Because we've been in that same situation and we know what it's like, and we understand the risks that are involved. So I'm looking to extend the olive branch and say, hey, let's take a bad opportunity and a bad situation and create a stronger one. So, but don't mess with Ronnie. Don't mess with Ronnie. Ronnie, you got nothing going on tonight. What are you doing? Just hanging?
Yeah, we'll get some content up. We'll get some player profiles up. We got some in the can that we got to get up. So, going to be a good content night.
Beautiful. That's going to do it for our show. We're going to be better tomorrow, as tomorrow is Wrestling Wednesday. Anthony, who's on board for that? We got a couple feelers out. We have to get someone locked down, but we will keep an eye on social media. Make sure that we have someone tomorrow. Make sure you keep an eye on our Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. See who we announce for tomorrow, because we're trying to get some people locked down. Things are heating up on the mat as well, so I'm excited to see what comes of Wrestling Wednesday. We will be back. I will be back with you on Thursday, part of the dynamic duo that makes up YSN Live. For Anthony Ronald Hartwig, the 8-time best-selling author, world traveler, Grammy and Emmy Award winning, as well as the Pulitzer Prize nominated, did not win, but he'll get them next time. My name is DJ Yoakley. We will see you. Well, Anthony will see you tomorrow. I will see you on Thursday, right here, high noon on YSN Live. And hey, sports be with you.
And you, my friend.
YSN thanks you for watching this presentation of Your Sports Network. For stories, stats, and more, go to ysnlive.com.